her love for heavy metal music and her vibrant personality.
She's a heavy
During the
metal
winter break of
hoe.
1986, Pamela returned home for the holidays, a familiar routine filled with family traditions and reunions with old friends. On New Year's Eve, she attended a party with friends, and it was there that she met Gregory Smart. They hit it off almost instantly, bonding over their shared love of heavy metal music. Greg was charmed by her confidence and energy. Pamela, in turn, was taken by his relaxed nature and the way he seemed genuinely interested in her. When it was time for Pamela to head back to Florida State, Greg didn't stay behind. He followed her south, not to enroll or pursue a degree, but simply because he couldn't imagine being apart. Their connection had moved quickly, but it felt real to both of them. By the time Pamela finished school, they had already made a decision. They were going to build a life together. After graduation, they moved back to New Hampshire and settled in Derry, choosing a quiet, upscale neighborhood where they could start fresh as husband and wife. The newlyweds seemed to have everything going for them. Pamela and Greg settled into a well-kept home just a block from Greg's parents, the kind of neighborhood where people waved from their porches and children played in the yard. They adopted a dog, adding to the picture of a young couple building their future. Greg took a job in insurance, a steady, respectable position, but it came with trade-offs. He cut his long hair, traded in his metal t-shirts for button-downs, and began dressing the part of a professional. To Pamela, the change was strange. She was disappointed to see her metal-loving husband transform into what she considered a boring businessman. As Greg settled into his new professional role, the honeymoon phase began to fade. Their relationship began to face its first serious challenge. The couple's problems deepened when Greg confessed to Pamela that he had been unfaithful. This revelation devastated her and marked the beginning of serious trouble in their marriage. However, despite the marital difficulties, Pamela was building her own career. She landed a job at Winnicott High School in Hampton, where she worked as a media services coordinator, creating videos and managing audiovisual equipment. She also volunteered with a drug prevention organization called Project Self-Esteem, working with teenagers to help them make better life choices. At just 22, Pamela could easily relate to the students, and they loved her for it. She was fun, funny, and easy to talk to. The students saw her as someone who understood them, someone who was different from the typical adults in their lives. Among all the students who were drawn to her, one stood out in particular, a 15-year-old named William Flynn, who went by Billy. At first, he only came around during volunteer sessions. Then he started showing up between classes. Eventually, he was in her office almost every day. He was always hanging around, always ready to help. Pamela didn't seem to mind. Billy had that rebellious charm, the shoulder-length hair, the earring, the leather jacket. He played guitar.
Boy.
He loved heavy metal. In a lot of ways, he reminded her of Greg, or at least the version of Greg she used to love.
She wanted an archetype of a guy to look a certain way and stuff. Once the guy put on a collared shirt and everything, he was no longer the bad boy, no longer like he doesn't give a shit about authority. He does what he wants. Now he's like, it's him becoming a simp, actually.
Yep.
Is he in a way, he became a corporate simp in a way. So part of it is actually part of, he could have done maybe a cooler job or worked for himself or did something different. Start slanging rock, doing something.
This was the 80s, right?
Yeah, this was like 1990, I think, is when this
said 90, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 90. Yeah, no, could have gotten on the ground
basically
floor
it was the 80s, the backdrop, yeah. So they were partying, they were doing like all that 80s hair metal stuff. So they, now he's not doing blow anymore because he has the corporate job. He's cool. He's not cool anymore to her. So what's she going to do? She's at work, bored. She's going to try to go with probably who's cool there or who's just vulnerable too.
He stopped doing blow, but she didn't stop blowing.
No. That's just the way she blows.
Pamela knew how Billy felt
she
about
blows.
It wasn't subtle. Most people in the building could see it. But instead of creating distance, she let it continue. After Greg's betrayal, her confidence had taken a hit. She was still young, still figuring things out, and Billy's attention felt good. He looked at her like she was everything. She began to feed into his feelings, giving him the attention and encouragement he craved. Pamela also became close friends with another student, Cecilia Pierce, who served as her teen assistant. Pamela shared everything with Cecilia, treating her like a confidant rather than just a student. She shared things most adults wouldn't share with a teenager. Unfortunately for Pamela, this closeness would later prove to be a critical mistake. In early 1990, the relationship between Pamela and Billy crossed a line when they shared their first kiss. What had been an inappropriate flirtation.
You know what Billy said? Pam! home.
Between a teacher and student had now become something much more serious and potentially dangerous. The situation escalated in late March 1990, when Greg was out of town on a business trip. Pamela decided to invite Billy and Cecilia over to her house to hang out and watch movies. But at one point, Cecilia stepped out to walk the dog, and with the house quiet, Pamela and Billy went upstairs to her bedroom, where they had sexual relations for the first time.
So she made her go walk the dog and then banged him in there. Oh my God. She made her go walk the other dog.
She got walked.
Yeah, she got walked because she is a dog.
It's a bitch.
She's a bitch, yeah.
This marked the beginning of a secret affair that would continue for several weeks. But there was one major obstacle standing in the way of their relationship: Greg. Billy had strong feelings for Pamela and wanted to be with her openly. But as long as she was married, their relationship would have to remain hidden. The tension in this impossible...
So wait a minute. Was he cucking or something? Let me go back. I think he wanted the marriage to remain open. This guy, this actually might all be this guy's fault just for being such a simp.
That's the root of most problems.
Pamela and Billy went upstairs to her bedroom, where they had sexual relations for the first time. This marked the beginning of a secret affair that would continue for several weeks. But there was one major obstacle standing in the way of their relationship: Greg. Billy had strong feelings for Pamela and wanted to be with her openly. But as long as she was married, their relationship would have to remain hidden. The tension in this impossible situation was building toward a breaking point, and that breaking point came on May 1st, 1990, a Tuesday that would change everything. That morning, Greg left for work at 9:45 a.m., just as he did every weekday. A few minutes later, Pamela left for her job at the high school. She had several meetings scheduled that day and wouldn't be returning home until late that evening.
Yeah, meetings. You work at a high school as a teacher's aide. You have meetings. Well, meetings about what?